MrBeast responds to the backlash of his friend coming out as a part of the OGTV community, and specifically one creator's video that accurately portrays the situation or not. This is an interesting conversation. And listen, this is just, the whole thing is just unfortunate. We covered it already on the channel, but I don't know what to make of all of it, because this is the entire back and forth exchange. And could this be the thing that kind of hurts MrBeast? There's a whole lot here. So let's jump into this video. So this is a video that was put out by a creator named as SunnyV2.
Yep. And it has 1.6 million views in 14 hours. So
and SunnyV2 basically makes video essays about different YouTube creators. The video, kind of a grimy topic. What is the video called?
Yep. So the video is called Why Chris Will Soon Be a Nightmare for MrBeast. And the first half covers over like kind of the family stuff, kind of the points you touched on in your previous video. And the video begins to take a turn to a somewhat interesting conversation as a creator, but kind of dark when you're thinking about people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a place you shouldn't go probably. But let's watch it.
Yeah.
Criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place?
Sheesh.
So, and they were saying that like previously he was known as the country boy, like that is just kind of a regular guy, and that was his come up as a character in the videos. And so he's saying, is this going to jeopardize that?
Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video.
Sheesh.
That's what happened to the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Yeah.
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 The
I
Disney
mean,
joint.
we're seeing it happen with Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah,
and
they dropped in billions of value.
Yeah, I think brands, entertainment, Hollywood is definitely out of touch with the average person and how they feel about this stuff.
Yes.
On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So you're a Keemstar?
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast.
Sheesh. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. And then look up this tweet. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, I think it's supposed to say Chris, canceled. If he doesn't, his channel will die for real. Whew.
So, I mean, yeah. In our previous video, I touched on the idea that like, how much is his personality going to change, and would that affect his work ethic as an employee or whatever? This is taking it to a slightly different level of like, now in a way, MrBeast has a character in his show that is primarily made for kids, a very young consumption, that now has a character that a lot of people don't really want in their cartoons. In their videos.
You said MrBeast does cartoons.
In a way, right? Right? Like that's kind of so it's an interesting conversation, but where it gets dark is that this is all about like a real person.
Yes.
So and a real relationship. Him and MrBeast are best friends since day one. And so the spin, while interesting from a branding creator standpoint, is kind of dark watching Sunny V kind of explain how MrBeast is in a pickle when in reality, like this this is the pushback. Chris Tyson's life is completely changed, and the son's life and the wife's life are completely changed. And Sunny V is like marinating on the idea of this is the end of Mr. Beast. So it's kind of heavy. Like it's kind of heavy when you put it that way. But
this is the impossible position people are in today.
Yeah.
You either entertain this, which shout out to Ish Money in the house, said that he basically, if you entertain this, you're basically turning into Disney.
Yep.
Right? Or you push back and you're a bigot and you're a homophobe.
Yes.
There's no middle ground.
Yeah.
And the question becomes, how many folks is actually rocking with Disney? How many folks are really like, yeah, this is good? That's the part where I think people are out of touch.
Yeah.
I think people are out of touch. I think when like the silent majority thing has never been realer than it is now, I think. Just even, you know who I was with today.
Yeah.
And you know the circles he travels in. And we had that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, this is someone that's in Hollywood and that whole thing. And there's like certain things he can't say, certain things he won't say, certain things he's afraid to talk about. And because there's a direct path in getting canceled.
Situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions.
Yep.
However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos.
Whoa.
If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm.
Yep.
The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable.
Jeez.
Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Now, MrBeast responded to this.
So not only did MrBeast respond to it, but Twitter, of course, responded to this. And they said, or Hasan also responded, but this initial tweet went viral.
Of course, Hasan responded.
This initial tweet went viral, has 4 million views, 97,000 hearts or likes, whatever they call them. This is one of the most BS videos I've ever seen. Sunny's conclusion practically blames Chris for not taking the MrBeast brand into account before transitioning. Imagine showing such little regard for the welfare of a human being. And then it's the video we just watched.
Which, by the way, 700K in 8 hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's at 1.6 million in 14. So this tweet blew up. The video also blew up. And it got MrBeast to respond. He said, or actually Hasan says, T people getting poop on in the most deranged ways for simply existing. Now they done messed up and made MrBeast mad, which MrBeast has said, yes, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my friend. And
No, my effing friend.
Yeah. But like, yeah, but he used an EN.
Oh, okay.
Which is really a weird way to say it. It's like almost like he's appropriating some of the frickin' some of the frickin' traits.
Christian roots are coming back.
Yeah, his Christian roots are coming out. I forgot to put IN. Friend, and things are fine. All this T-phobia is starting to piss me off.
So from one standpoint, you were saying that's kind of wild that Sunny made a video about this.
So yeah, Twitter's biggest backlash is like you complete disregard for the human life that is involved in this, right? Which is Chris Tyson, and pretty much saying the Twitter backlash is like you're saying that he should take into account MrBeast's brand before transitioning, and of course they're all like live your truth or whatever.
Of course they are.
Yeah, of course they are. I'm saying I could see some validity in that. Like it's not the greatest argument like for a Matt Walsh to make. You know what I'm saying? To be like, you're ruining the brand because they already hate corporate America.
Sure.
And I see how you could come off as a really bitter, cold-hearted Republican
Which, by the way, we don't know if he's conservative or if he's Christian or anything about that dude. Sunny.
Oh yeah, Sunny, exactly. Because he had points that were like, oh,
that were
this-
reasonable
yeah,
points.
This could, yeah, I think the whole video was actually reasonable, and I think it was actually fairly interesting from a pop culture creator standpoint, a business standpoint, because you're like, oh, he's proposing questions people weren't asking, and that's a good video. That's just an interesting,
It's
that's
video.
interesting
There's
content.
tension, there's
Yeah,
conflict,
yeah.
all of it.
And without stating his outward opinion, so he doesn't get canceled. But apparently, it wasn't thoughtful enough to where he is getting canceled. But he had a point, and MrBeast is kind of digging into the culture war now, like, or he's forced to.
He's forced to.
And his whole point was he built this brand by not participating in the culture war and ideologies, and now he's forced to. So we're gonna see how it goes for him.
MrBeast gets protected a lot by the right
Yeah.
because the left goes after him for doing good things.
And he's rich.
That's gone.
Yeah.
He's picked a side. It's not that you lean left or center left. No, you are all the way with the ideology. And for folks even questioning and laying out the situation for what it is, the dude left, his marriage dissolved.
Yeah.
He's not in the same house as his kid anymore. For pointing out the obvious, folks are dismissed as transphobes. You've picked a side.
Yeah.
And so the question becomes, does this hurt MrBeast?
Absolutely. I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier offline. It's the same conversation parents are having with their kids or with each other about their kids, cartoons, and what they want to see and what they don't want to see. And even some center left people are like, I just don't want any of that in my cartoons, because I'll talk to them about it at the appropriate age.
Yeah.
So
Do you think it would be different if he was an adult creator? If this was Casey Neistat's right-hand man?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
1,000%.
And I think people who are like, MrBeast is just defending his friend, don't get that. I don't.
Yeah.
They think MrBeast is Gary Vee.
Yeah.
He's not Gary Vee. He's not whoever you like. He's not an adult creator. You know what I'm saying? MrBeast is a kid's creator. He makes videos for probably kids under 18.
Yeah.
And we watch it just by proxy.
Yeah. You click in and you're like,
Click in
oh,
because it's a 100 million viewed video.
yeah.
And the Squid Game thing was massive. It was
Yeah.
huge. If he wasn't, I like if he was a Logan Paul, who has an older audience now, his audience grew up.
Yep.
I don't think it would be as big of a deal.
No, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But also he's, to Sunny V's point, he's created a culture of not talking about certain things where Logan Paul, like, where certain people land. Logan Paul's already said where he lands. So if it happened, it just happened. It's like, oh, it's whatever.
He's kept it pretty
Yeah.
squeaky clean and avoided it.
Yeah, he specifically has gotten so broad into countries that don't accept these things because of this, or because of not saying something. So now when he's forced to, he's going to have an inevitable drop, right?
Yeah.
It might not crush. He might get a lot of fans in one side and lose fans in another, but he's left the no man's land. He's left the gray area of just, MrBeast is just entertainment. And now like, it's infiltrated, even if that's not what he was what he was trying to do.
Here's the tough part. The video is good for discussion, but the main talking point would have been better if he was using his family as the focal point for the decision to transition.
Yeah, and I mean,
Here's the thing. At what point do we just admit that these things don't happen in a vacuum? These situations affect other people. Stop pretending like this doesn't affect kids. Stop pretending like this doesn't destroy marriages. Stop pretending like this doesn't affect parents who grew up with, and they're told, well, would you rather have you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, would you rather have an
that's-
alive daughter or a dead son?
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Like, we got to stop acting like these things don't, like these things happen in a vacuum and no one else is affected. Other people are affected. So just pointing that out and being like, well, his marriage dissolved because his truth
Yeah,
is different from the truth that his wife married, who I believe is a Christian, is a person of faith, and he may have been a person of faith at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's sad. I don't know which came first. I don't know if the wife leaving him came first or whatever, but all of it is like, yo, this stuff affects people.
yep,
There's entire communities that get affected when this happens, and the notion. Listen, y'all might think like, well, let people do. Yeah. Listen, I'm all for let the world do what the world's gonna do. The issue becomes when the entire paradigm is anchored on the idea that you have a soul and your soul is in the wrong body. That has the presupposition that there is a God. You have a soul, you're in the wrong body, and God did it. God put you in the wrong body. Therefore, you need to get in the right body and live your truth. All of that, believe it or not, is deeply theological. And it's the opposite. It's the inversion of what we know to be true, which is in the beginning, God made them male and female. Whatever whatever God brings together, let no man tear apart, right? Jesus talking about divorce. There's a two fundamental truths, not just in scripture, in natural law, that we seem to not be acknowledging, and to even acknowledge those two things is now considered phobia, a phobia of some sort.
Because I would bet that with already super high divorce rates, that the Twitter folk would say that is a morally good trade.
What's a morally good trade?
A person becoming who they truly think they are and having a massive platform to promote and destigmatize this thing, even if he has to leave his wife and his son.
The greater good is for someone to dissolve their marriage, which they made a covenant and took vows before God and man. Dissolve that so that they can be the poster child for your truth being incoherent because what is non-binary? Incoherence. You literally can't even describe someone as non-binary in incoherent terms. On top of, and by the way, being in the wrong body. And I'm not saying that these people don't exist. Clearly they do exist. Clearly there's people that have gender dysphoria and are struggling and trying to figure this thing out, and they need dignity and respect and care and all that kind of stuff. What they don't need is to abandon their family for this.
Yep.
That's what they don't need. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think any therapist and psychologist would tell you, yeah, that's the path to go.
So I have a question. Do you think it's out of pocket for Sunny V to bring up that topic of MrBeast's brand and how it's going? I mean, he does end with, it doesn't seem like he's thought about MrBeast's brand and how this would affect the views. But aside from like the more direct comments that Twitter is very upset about, that whole topic, what do you think about that? Do you think it's out of pocket? Do you think we should keep it on like more life level?
It sucks because what makes a great content creator and a great video is often kind of harsh. He said what we were all thinking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like I said, he's asking questions a lot of us weren't even thinking about until he asked it. And we're like, oh, that's another level. Like, is MrBeast going to be around anymore if he's polarizing his audience? I do like it's hard because I get where Twitter's coming from. And as far as like being a loving Christian and just bringing the hard truths in the areas that actually matter, like your family and your kids. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of messed up. From a creator, the business side, it's a very interesting question. And it also does, like, the topic's worthy considering he's the most subscribed to creator and he's creating shows for families. So it's almost like
families ain't tuning into that.
Exactly.
They're not tuning in.
I wonder what the MrBeast in Espanol or the MrBeast in these other countries is going to look like. Like, are they keeping him in?
Well, that was the point you made, right?
Yeah. Was that like
the phobia, the phobic response is most people.
Yeah.
Most people around the world feel this way. And we're gonna really see what MrBeast is about.
Yeah, like is
are you you know what I mean? Like, are you willing to take a big hit because of this imaginary value virtue signal, and to stand next to your boy, stand next to your homie?
Yeah,
we gonna see what he's made of.
Yeah,
right. Stand 10 toes down.
Is the India
rock out? Go ahead, rock out, bro.
Is the India MrBeast including Chris's segments?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because they re-edit everything, they add all the voiceovers, the translations or whatever. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see these. Like,
I'm happy. Gosh, I'm so happy I'm not in that situation.
Yeah.
Listen, I have had no one around me go through gender dysphoria. I don't know what I would do.
I don't know what I would do. Yeah, I mean,
I have never been invited to one of these weddings. I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
There was once upon a time where would I go? And I was like, no, I couldn't go. There's no way I can go. So I'm just like, look, I haven't had to deal with that. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month. So we stay independent, never have to take up brand deals, and make goofy commercials like these.
Our friends at Genucel Skincare have exciting news to celebrate in 2023.
Using Manscaped during my showers after workout has given me much more confidence.
And that's where Mudwater comes in.
True Classic has got your back.
All thanks to the sponsor of today's video, SayMine.com.
Established Titles is your opportunity to earn the title of Laird or Lady. Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 19.99% APR, included 0.50% auto pay discount.
If you don't want us to make ads with brands you don't care about, sign up for our online community for as little as $5 a month to keep us independent and ultimately answering to you as our boss. You get all sorts of benefits like daily replays of our after party streams, exclusive access to our Discord community, and early access to our podcast interviews, all starting for only $5 a month.
Kingstream Entertainment.